Creating your best self is about learning to take charge of your mind. Before you can create things physically, you have to be able to control your mind. You have to be able to take charge of your mind. You have to be able to rewire your brain, recruit your brain to change your biology. We recruit the brain to change your biology. That is how we create lasting change. All right, everybody, Dr. Dell here again with personalfitness.com. Hope you're doing great out there. It is the holiday season. So, we've been talking all this year about creating that body you want and getting the goals you desire. And look at this. It is December, almost the end of the year. So how did you do? Really, how did you do? If you've been listening to this podcast all year, then I have given you tools, lots of tools, to create the best version of yourself. Your future self is the best version of yourself, and that's what we've been talking about all year. So welcome today. This is the first episode of The Best You've Ever Been. The Best You've Ever Been. I've decided to change the title of the podcast from Energize Your Life to The Best You've Ever Been. And, the reason is very simple. When I wrote my last book, not my first, I've written 8 books. When I wrote my last book, this was back in 2016. This is when I started the podcast, Energize Your Life. And the title of my book was Energize Your Life. How to activate the 7 pillars of positive energy that makes you feel alive. And at the time, the podcast obviously spoke to me because that was what was in the forefront for me, was my book, Energize Your Life, and teaching you how to activate those different pillars of positive energy, how to energize your life, so to speak, all right? How to live with purpose, passion, and play. And not that I don't do that anymore. I still do that. I still work with people to live with purpose, passion, and play, because that is how you energize your life. When you're living on purpose, right? And when you're doing things you're passionate about, and when you find times to play, that is the biggest source of energy for you. If you don't have those things, well, you're going to be dragging through the day. You're going to be dragging, right? So when you're on purpose and you're working on your passions and you take time to play, you will be energized, because life will all be about play. You won't be working, you'll be playing. So I've decided to change the title of the podcast to The Best You've Ever Been. The Best You've Ever Been was the title of a series of audio tapes I did years ago. years ago. They're still out there. They're still available. I have them on one of my coaching programs for free. And again, they were a great series of, again, how to be the best you've ever been. And what does that look like, right? To be the best you've ever been means to do work on yourself in the 4 quadrants of well-being: physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. If you want to be the best you ever been, right, that means you want to create your best body, don't you? Don't you? Of course, you want to create your best body. That's part of being the best you've ever been. Creating the best version of yourself means that you want to create your best body, which means, hey, you want to look good naked. Folks, hello. Of course you want to look good naked. For about 20 years, I used that catchphrase on my business cards, my fitness training business cards. Look good naked. Because what else can you be striving for? Don't you want to look good naked? Of course you want to stand in front of the mirror and go, yes, here I am. Wow. Boy. Whew, girl, you look good. You want to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and be proud of who you are. So we work on creating that. Yeah, look good naked. And for you ladies, feeling sexy again, getting your sexy back. That's the title of my webinar, Get Your Sexy Back, because over the past 5 years, that is the number one thing that women all over the country have told me that they want to do. They want to get their sex back. They want to feel sexy again. They want to be able to, go on the beach, walk on the beach in a two-piece, not just a one-piece, and be walking on the beach and have someone look at them and come up from them behind and have no idea that, hey, I am a woman over 50. How about that? Oh, that is so beautiful. I love that. You see, you can look great when you're in your 20s and 30s, but that doesn't impress me, right? Because you're able to, when you're in your 20s and 30s, you can create anybody you want. You can look great because you've got all the possibilities, right? You've got lots of growth hormones flowing around your body. You've got the potential to be whatever you want. But as soon as you start getting in your 40s, 50s, and beyond, well, life change. Things change. Your body change, your hormones change. Things become a bit more difficult. So it takes a lot more discipline to look good naked. It takes a lot more discipline to build your best body. It takes a lot more discipline to maintain the results that you get. To look good naked and feel sexy, it takes a lot more discipline to do those things. It takes a lot more discipline to maintain those habits. Especially when you've got kids and you've got a family that you're dealing with and you've got a career that you're working on and you've got all these different things, all these different obligations that are pulling you in different directions. It becomes much more difficult, but not impossible. So that's why we're talking about becoming the best you've ever been, right? I know you gentlemen, you want to trade in that keg for a six-pack. We're going to talk about that. Of course you want to trade in that keg for a six-pack and get rid of that middle-age bulge, the dad bod, and create your ideal physique, don't you? Don't you want to create your ideal physique? Don't you want to be able to look in the mirror and just love the person looking back at you? And that's possible. That is possible. That is part of being the best you've ever been, working on yourself physically, working on your physicality so you can feel your strength, own your power. Before you can live your best life, you have to learn to feel your strength and own your power. Because guess what? You walk a certain way. You walk different. You hold your chest up, your head up. You feel different about yourself. So yes, folks, the physicality is important, right? You can't downplay that. But we also have to talk about the mental focus, mentality, right? Mentally, you want to take charge of your mind because every habit, guess what, folks? Every habit begins as just a thought. Every habit begins of just a thought. So if you're going to create new habits, well, you have to take charge of your thinking. If you are going to change old behavioral patterns, you have to learn to take charge of your thinking. You have to learn to take charge of your mind. You have to learn to master your mind. That is one of the habits we practice in my coaching programs, both Weight Loss Made Easy and the Best You Academy. Right? Mastering your mind. That is very important. That is one of the key habits because guess what? You need to focus. You need to be able to change your thinking. You need to be able to change your stinking thinking to positive, empowering thoughts. Because guess what, folks? Every urge and craving begins with a thought. So if you're going to work on changing your cravings and your urges, kicking those cravings to the curb, well, you have to learn how to change your thinking. You have to learn how to work with your mind. Because your brain controls all of this, right? A habit is nothing but a neurological pathway in the brain. A neurological pathway, well, that is initiated by a thought. Wow. See, you see how all this works? Your brain and thought. So the process here is that I teach my clients, it's a brain-based process. It's not about calories and eating good, eating bad, eating this, eating that. No, it's not about food at all. Creating your best self is about learning to take charge of your mind. Before you can create things physically, you have to be able to control your mind. You have to be able to take charge of your mind. You have to be able to rewire your brain, recruit your brain to change your biology. We recruit the brain to change your biology. That is how we create lasting change, okay? We learn to rewire the brain by recruiting the brain to change your biology. Rewiring the brain means creating new neural pathways. A habit is nothing but a neurological pathway in the brain. It's a circuit. We have to learn to change those brain circuits, the brain programming. Right? To create new habits, we have to create new brain programming. To break bad habits, we have to break those circuits and rewire the brain. So mentally, that's important. Emotionally, right? You're looking to let go of old baggage, aren't you? Especially you ladies. Yes, you have a tendency to hold on to a lot of old baggage, and we drag those around with us through the years and across the decades. And, well, how can you create lasting change when you've got a bag, a load of baggage just dragging you down, dragging behind you every step you take? Well, you're not going to get very far, are you? So we've got to be able to work through those unresolved issues and learn to feel good about yourself again, right? You got to learn to feel good about yourself. You've got to learn to feel good about yourself now so that you'll want to do the things you need to do to create your best self. A lot of people approach weight loss from a different perspective. They try to lose weight so that they can feel good about themselves, and they don't realize, no, that is the opposite. You're taking it the wrong way. You must first learn to feel good about yourself now so that you'll want to do the things necessary to create your best self, to work on that future self, to create your best body, to change your thinking. Right? You see how this is all coming together? Work on the physical, the mental, the emotional. Now, the spiritual, you want to feel whole and complete. Do you know how many women have told me? I talk to a lot of women every day. I talk to some men too. Most of the women love talking to me. What's up with you guys? Come on, guys. I do my free health strategy call. It's available to everyone. Personalfitness.com. You can sign up there, right? Or you do my webinar, my Get Your Sexy Back, or any of my webinars. You get a chance to sign up for a one-on-one coaching call with me. But I tell you, I've talked to so many women who tell me that I want to fix the part of me that is wrong. Did you hear what's wrong with that? I want to fix the part of me that is wrong. And that is such an unempowering way of approaching creating personal change. It's unempowering, right? Because whenever you start thinking that you need to fix something, that means that something is wrong. But there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You are whole and complete as you are. We are just spiritual beings having a human experience. And part of that human experience is that we've got things happening. We've got issues that will bubble up to the surface and force us to take a look at them, force us to resolve them. Anytime, I say, anytime you are in emotional turmoil, your school is in session. Your school is in session. So that is a time that you need to learn to what I call work your process. You need to learn to work your process. It's a self-counseling process, right? You need to learn to invoke that inner counselor. You need to learn to invoke your neutral observer. You need to learn to work with yourself. Your school is in session. So you need to learn the tools necessary to resolve your own issues so that you can graduate. The point is to graduate, right? The point is to graduate. The point is to strive to be the best you've ever been. We'll never get there, but we learn to create that future self that we're after. And your future self, obviously, is the best version of you. So that's what it means to strive to be the best you've ever been. And I love this so much because that's what I've been doing with my clients, just working with people to learn to love themselves again. That's so important. If you love yourself, you want to take care of yourself. If you are having a problem putting yourself in your own equation, like so many people I talk to every day, I deal with a lot of clients every day through my coaching who are just having a problem putting themselves in their own equation. They get up and the first thing they do is they reach for their laptop and they start working. They don't think about, okay, well, what's my morning ritual? How do I put myself in the equation here? How do I focus on me? Well, you need to learn those skills, right? And if you really love yourself, then you wouldn't have a problem taking better care of yourself. Think about it. For those of us who are parents, well, you love your kids, you do whatever necessary to take care of them. Why? Because you love them. You want the best for them. So why do we always tend to put ourselves on the back burner? It's a case of, some of us have fallen out of love with ourselves. Some of us have never loved ourselves. Some of us think that we're not enough. Some of us think that there are things wrong with us. Some of us think that we need to be something else. We need to be someone else. We need to fix the part of me that is wrong before I can love myself, or I'm not lovable. And these are all some of the issues that have come up for the people I work with, because this is the programming that they have received over the years, even going back to childhood. So we learn to go back and resolve these unfinished business. I call them unfinished business. We got to resolve those unfinished business so that we can let go of the baggage that we're pulling with us through life. And by doing so, that is the only way that we'll be able to create emotional balance and learn to master our emotions. Learn to master our mind and emotions. Learn to love ourselves again. Feel whole and complete as we are, because we're whole and complete as we are. No matter what's going on, no matter where we are, no matter how much weight you've got to lose, no matter what your body looks like, you are whole and complete. We've got some stuff to do. We've got some work to do, yes. So that's why this podcast is called The Best You've Ever Been. These are the things we work on. You see, I work with my clients to rewire their brain to create success habits, break old behavioral patterns, and start prioritizing the needs of their future self over those of their current self so that they can become the best they've ever been. So are you ready to become the best you've ever been? Join me each week as we talk about the tools necessary, the habits necessary to practice the habits of your future self. I call them non-negotiable habits. You've got to develop non-negotiable habits. Those are the habits of your future self. We talk about how to create guardrails. Guardrails are habits that help us to catch ourselves when we're slipping. If you don't catch yourself when you're slipping, pretty soon you'll be sliding backwards. That's why I see people lose 100 pounds and then regain it, because they haven't set up guardrail habits to catch themselves when they're slipping. So these are the important things that we're going to be dealing with. So going forward, really, if you're interested in being the best you've ever been, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, then this is a place that you need to be. And beginning in January, well, I don't deal with New Year's resolutions. We're going to focus on what I call Project U. Right? Project U, you can start right now. Project U is creating the best you, the best version of you, becoming the best you've ever been. That's all I've got for you today, friends. Thanks for joining me. I'm Dr. Del Millers, personalfitness.com. Don't forget, check out the show notes for all the resources I've got for you. Remember, a free health strategy call, one-on-one coaching time with me. Hey, why wouldn't you want to get on the phone and have a chat with me? You can. My webinar, Get Your Sexy Back. My coaching programs, Weight Loss Made Easy, the Best You Academy. I've got so much for you to help you to strive to be the best you've ever been going forward. As usual, my friends, may the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. I'll catch you later. Take care.